Question is, how old is hip hop and who gave hip hop birth?
Oh, how old is hip hop?
Or rap?
Well, it's a controversial issue, you know. I started DJing in 1972, and Kool Herc, who they say is the father of hip hop, he started DJing in about 1970, 71. So let's say 71. If it's 71, then it's about 36 years old, 37 years old. Cool, great hip hop.
So you have been inspired by Kool Herc to do DJ? Or what was
Kool Herc was one of the guys who inspired me. There's also Pete DJ Jones and DJ Hollywood, and people like Grandmaster Flash, Theodore. Guys like that. But I was a DJ in 1972. I was 13.
Yeah, so which part takes the experience of Kool Herc of the Jamaican stuff for creating the new style of the breaks of the records, to break them, play just the hot parts of it? What was that the invention of Kool Herc? Was he the one who brought that from Jamaica?
I don't know. There's stories that say that he was, there's stories that say that he wasn't, you know. I don't know. You have to ask Kool Herc that one. That's a Kool Herc question. And, you know, I know that he had some incredible parties, and he had a vibe in his parties that were really cool to be around and listen to the music that he played. He played some special music, very, very special music in the world of disco.
So what was the special thing, what was new in that time?
Mm-hmm.
What the DJs did, referring to the DJs before?
Well, you know, we bring that same intensity, that same feeling with the Hip Hop Anniversary Tour that we're on, and you know, it's just a vibe. You can't explain it. A vibe is something that you cannot explain. It's a feeling, it's an energy, a spirit, and it's very difficult to explain, to put into words. You just have to had been there in order to really know what the vibe was. So a lot of guys try to explain the actual, you know, feeling that you would get. Just imagine this. You go to a club and you go to the speaker and you stand right next to the speaker and you listen to the music and you close your eyes, and then the music is making you move and you start feeling the bass is so incredible. It rumbles throughout your whole body, through your heart, and all the way to your toes. But you have your eyes closed and you're feeling everything, and your mind goes off. And this is hip hop.
So, how was the situation in the Bronx at the time of the beginning of rap, and what had that to do with the growth of hip hop?
Well, the Bronx is the birthplace of hip hop, and it's a fact. You know, this is where the whole ideology of the way of life comes from, and that's something that's so very important. You know, in the early '70s, being up in the South Bronx, when many people were poor, and it was a very hard life, a lot of oppression. And hip hop was the savior that came in, that gave the kids the comfort to deal with all of the oppression.
How was you feeling in '79 when Sugarhill Gang had their big hit, Rapper's Delight? And how was the feeling of all the other rappers in your area?
Well, that was the summer of 1979, And every car, every train, every bus, every cab, every radio, every boombox, every Walkman. We didn't have Walkmans or iPods, but everybody was playing this song all over, 24 hours a day. And I don't think I remember another song that was more popular than Rapper's Delight. Definitely, we started things off with a big bang.
Wow. Was the success also a help for your career?
It sure was. Rapper's Delight was hot on the radio, and I was in the studio recording in October, and we finished in November, and we searched for a record deal in December, and finally got a record deal because that record was so hot, because Rapper's Delight was so hot on the radio. We got a record deal, and I got the opportunity to be the first rapper signed to a major label.
And what do you think about that? A lot of rappers thought about the Sugarhill Gang that they are kind of inauthentic band because they have been put together by Sylvia Robinson and things like that.
Whatever. So, they made history. 200 years from now, people will probably be talking about this incredible song. And it doesn't matter. They made it. They did it. They made it happen. A lot of cats from the Bronx say this, you know, they're frustrated and, you know, we jealousy. But my mom always told me, you know, give credit to where credit is due. And you have to give them the credit. Without that song, there would be no hip hop.
Yeah, but there was just one guy who didn't get his credit, Grandmaster Cass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still sad about his rhymes. He heard it on the radio. Everybody thought, "Hey Cass, you have your hit on the radio." What do you think about that?
It's the nature of the business, you know. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Not a lot of nice people in this world. A lot of mean people. A lot of thieves. A lot of sinners, murderers, whatever you want to call them. They're there. They're all out there. You can catch them on MySpace. But it's like, what do you do? I mean, you know, that was then, and now, if they could make, you know, adjustments in the paying royalties for that song, then he should be in there. You know, I feel for him, but hey, I wrote a song for Run-D.M.C. one time, and they never gave me anything for it either. You know, a song called "You Talk Too Much," and I was a ghostwriter, and they never knew I wrote the song. They just took it from the guy I gave it to. He made a bet to me. He said, "Hey, how soon can you make a song? How soon can you write a song? 3 lyrics, 3 verses." Just an hour, 1 hour. No, I bet you $200. You can't write a song in 1 hour. So I wrote the song in a half an hour and won $200. So he took the song and gave it to Run-D.M.C. I never got credit for it, but you know, I have written enough songs in my life to, you know, not care about one, and that's a blessing. I thank God for that. But as far as Grandmaster Cass, my heart goes out to him, and I hope that he could capitalize on what he did a long time ago. It's not too late.
So, how did you have your breakthrough?
Well, my first song was Christmas Rap. It was a song about Christmas and Santa Claus visiting a home in Harlem, and what goes on every Christmas Eve, every Christmas Eve, every Christmas Eve. And it was an incredible song. I was in college during the time, and I just wanted to sell. I figured it all out, you know, with my royalty rates and the gross amount of the wholesale price and how much I would make. I figured, you know, in order for me to finish college, I needed $37,000. So I wanted to sell at least $37,000 worth of Christmas rap songs. And I figured it to be about 30,000 records. So that's what I made my whole mission was to sell 30,000 records. But the song was incredible. It sold 370,000 records, and I had to go out on tour and leave school. So that was my start.
And how you get the deal with the Christmas Rappin? How you get known to the people?
The deal came about. My producers, J.V. Moore and Robert Ford, went around to 22 different labels, and only 2 labels liked the song. The first guy, his name was Kurtis Blow. He was the A&R director for Panorama Records. He loved the song. He took it to his bosses, you know, up the flagpole, and they didn't like it, so they didn't sign him. But he quit. He quit his job about 2 months later and formed his own label called Profile Records, and 3 years later he signed his first rap group, Run-D.M.C. That was Kurtis Blow. Now the other guy who liked the record was an English fellow. His name was John Staines. He was A&R director for Mercury Phonogram out of England, London. And he said, "Oh, I like this record. We should sign this fellow up. This chap is really good. We can make this money back in 6 months." So they signed me up. And actually, I signed to the UK. I was a UK artist, a London artist. And my records came back to America as an import. So that's very strange. And then eventually, after a couple more songs, they signed me in America.
All right. You had your big hit, The Breaks, later on, and it influenced hip-hop history very much. Why?
You say what?
It influenced hip-hop culture a lot.
Oh, well, you know, number one, the fact that the Sugarhill Gang, Rapper's Delight, they didn't report to the RIAA Commission, which is the federal commission that gives out the gold records and the plaques. So since they didn't report, they could not receive a gold record for Rapper's Delight. So when The Breaks came out in 1980, it went gold, and so I have the first plaque, the first certified gold rap song. The Breaks was a trendsetter song because it was geared towards break dancing, or the b-boys. They weren't called break dancers after before the Breaks. We were b-boys. And I just wanted to make a song to, you know, dedicate to the b-boys and give them a lot of breaks, you know, a lot of opportunities, breaks, so that they could, you know, do the b-boy dance. And it was such a successful record that it started a trend of more powerful breakdance moves or b-boy moves called power moves. The acrobatics, the windmills, the head spins, the 1990s, the crabs and the crawls and the flips and the somersaults and all of those incredible dance moves you see today started right after that record, and they started calling it breakdancing. That was the other thing about that song. The other thing, the main thing, I say, getting back to being the first rapper on a major label, what that means is that, you know, you have major press, you have a major office in every major city around the world. So it's like the long arm of the law, you know, there's a lot of power being on a major label. So I was doing a lot of press and traveling to a lot of cities. And when the breaks came out, I got the opportunity to travel to Europe. I was the first rapper in Europe to go to, you know, Paris and Belgium and, of course, Berlin, Germany, all over Germany with Phonogram, and visiting every major cities in the country. So, and I was the first to do it. So that's the true essence of pioneer. And it was because of the song, The Breaks. And when I got to these cities, you know, being a major record label, they had major press. So I was seeing, you know, each city had a whole day lined up of interviews with the #1 newspapers, the #1 magazines, the #1 radio stations, TV, all of that. Top of the Pops, Top Pops, all of everything. I did it all back in 1980, and it's because I was on a major label. So the breaks really gave me the opportunity to make history and to be that real, true pioneer in every sense of the word. So it was a blessing.
So how was that for you to come out of New York to Europe to present your rap and here? How was that?
Well, it's incredible. It's like a 19-year-old kid born and raised in Harlem, in the ghetto, and I make it big and I get the opportunity to travel to Paris, oh my God, the Champs-Élysées, and, you know, go to places like Rome and the Vatican and the Colosseum and, you know, Berlin and seeing the Berlin Wall. I mean, just incredible, incredible time of my life, you know. Many people, you know, all of their lives don't get the chance to travel around the world and see many of the countries that I've been to. And I just thank God every day for that blessing, you know. And as you can see, I'm still here, still traveling around the world. And it's because of that time. It's because of the breaks, you know.
So you're still enjoying traveling, doing parties, doing the show on the stage?
Of course. I mean, that's my life. That's who I am. I'm a hip hopper. You know? I am hip hop, and it's my life. Like, you know, it's a true culture. It's a way of life, and so the way I dress, you know, the music I listen to, the dance I do, you know, the way I speak. All of it is the art that I love. You see these walls? You see this? This is some incredible artwork right here. I mean, it may look wild and crazy right now, but if you were in a gallery and you saw this stuff, I mean, it's just amazing to the eye. It's hip-hop aesthetics. But, you know, it's a part of my life, and I just love it. I'm just, you know, blessed. Totally blessed by God to be in a position, this position in hip hop.
How do you see Melle Mel's part in hip hop history, especially the song "The Message," where he and the Furious Five and Grandmaster Flash brought into the game conscious rap for the first time? Mm-hmm. So, how do you see that part in hip hop history, Melle Mel?
Well, I thought Melle Mel and I go way back to the early days of the 70s. In the mid 70s, we met, and we were in the same gang together. See, in the 70s, gangs were terrorizing New York City. It was like the movie Warriors. Really true about the 70s. And so we met in a gang. We were in the same gang called the Peacemakers. And here's a gang called the Peacemakers. There's no peacemaking. But I'll tell you this, it does say in the Bible that in Matthew chapter 5, you know, blessed are the peacemakers, for they are called the children of God. So that's a blessing. And we hold this, Mel and I have a strange relationship, because when we first met, we were in a gang, we were like really close, like best friends almost. And then we didn't see each other for a couple of years. And then I find out I'm a DJ and I'm rapping, and there's another group. Who's this Grandmaster Flash guy up in the Bronx? He has a group on 5 MCs, and one of them is this cat, Melvin Glover, Melle Mel, and his brother Danny Glover. They're peacemakers. Oh my God. So, it's a strange relationship. I think God brought us together for a specific reason. Even though we were really, really in competition a lot of our life in the 80s, making records and stuff and being on stage, and there's always that competition thing. But deep down in our hearts, we know how close we are, how blessed we really are.
Okay.
He said, okay.
All right.
Whatever you say, Blow.
So, yeah, but yeah, what do we say? The message was like the first song which talked about the situation in the ghetto. So, was that the beginning of real hip hop? Like that the hip hop get an adult to talk about problems and not only on the party.
Yes, that is very true. Even though I did release a song called Throughout Your Years in 1981, and it had a really, really strong, powerful message, you know. Throughout your years, your ups and downs, your highs and your lows, I'm the man with the mic who rocks the house, the man called Kurtis Blow. When I went to bed, there was something in my head. To be a rapper was my dream. Like in the morning with the bacon and the eggs and the coffee and the cream. So I made up my mind that I would always try to be the best that I could be. So here I am rapping at the jam with the fly guys and the young ladies. So just take your time, you don't have to hurry. Hang and tuck, you don't have to worry. In society, the strong survive. Just rap and sing and get a 9 to 5. With a little hard work and dedication, we'll pull together and rock the nation. So if you're doing a do and you think you're great, come on, everybody participate. Say ho! You know, that was a big, big hit back in the States in 1981. But it never really got the credit for being like a message rap, sort of, you know. But I will say, you know, the message arguably is the greatest rap song ever made.
How do you see the development of hip hop till now?
You know, being one of the eldest spokesmen of hip hop, I want to try my best to keep it positive. You know, always trying to be an inspiration to kids out there. So I support hip hop, the hip hop of today. I'm one of the few older cats who say this. You know, a lot of guys my age are frustrated, and they see all the $1 million being made, millions of dollars being made, and you know, the MTV cribs. It doesn't help. But you know, hip hop has grown tremendously. It has evolved. The raps are incredible now. The flows are complicated, more complicated. They're faster, they're wittier. There's a lot of variety in rap now in hip hop. You know, from the dirty South to the West Coast to the Midwest with Kanye and Common, and St. Louis over there with Nelly, and then traditional New York with you know, all of the old school to the Jay-Z and 50 Cent. There's a lot of great stuff in hip hop. So I support them. Lyrical content we can work on. It's not a problem, you know. But I will say this: if you travel outside of America, the big incredible thing about hip hop nowadays is that you go to Germany, they rap in German. Sammy Deluxe, you know, Phantasm Fear, on and on and on. So many guys here in Germany. But, you know, you go to France, they rap in French. You go to Italy, they rap in Italian. You go to Spain, they rap in Spanish. You go to Japan, they rap in Japanese, and China, Chinese. It's just incredible to see how hip hop has grown all over the world. And people all over the world have embraced our culture and made it their own culture. and you see guys rapping in their native tongues, and they're the top pop artists of their country. So I think that's just incredible. Just the evolution, how it has grown. Here's a story. I went to Afghanistan right after 9/11, 2002. 2001. We went on tour to the Middle East for the Army, for the like Bob Hope thing, the USO and Armed Forces. So we did like all the Army bases in the Middle East, like maybe 20 shows, right? We went out there for a whole month. So I was in Pakistan at the US Embassy, and I was talking to one of the guards, and they were telling me about a rap group in Palestine. There's a rap group in Palestine, Palestinian rap group, rapping about their people, trying to keep it real, the plight of their people. But the songs that they made, are the number one requested songs on the Israeli radio station. That is the power of hip hop. That's incredible.
That's really incredible, yeah. That something should change in hip hop nowadays? Or what do you said there's also negative parts. What is the point?
There are skinheads who rap now. I heard of this. There are Muslims who rap now. Islamic rappers, religious rappers, talking about Allah and the jihad. There are Ku Klux Klan, KKK members rapping. For me, I truly believe in the freedom of speech. But where do we draw the line? Is what I'm saying. I'm getting kind of like, to the point where I say, wow, hip hop is incredible. Rap is incredible. But where do we draw the line and say enough is enough? Let us be the real MCs that we're supposed to be. Like Theodore always says, Grand Wizard Theodore says, a real MC is one who raps to uplift people, to inspire people, make people feel good, not to bring them down. I don't believe that this is the job of the rapper, but I totally agree with Theodore when he says that, let's uplift people, let's motivate people, inspire people, make people feel good and help somebody. That's what you're here for. That's why God gave you the blessing of life. Help somebody.
So you're part of the hip hop church in New York, and back in the 80s you have been a rap star, and you had a life of a rap star. So when did the point came that you changed your life and come back to church?
Well, it was come back. I like that question. Come back to the church, yes, because
is that right?
That's true. It was a gradual thing for me. Being around so much and seeing so much, from my travels, it's like, people actually, they work hard all of their lives to become successful, to get on top. But then what? Here it is. Here's a great example. When I was in college, in Bible college, because now I'm a licensed minister. But I was in college and I learned in a philosophy class, Aristotle comes up with this word called the telos, the Greek word meaning your end, your purpose. What is your purpose in life? Your telos. For instance, the telos of an acorn is become an oak tree. The telos of a caterpillar is to become a butterfly, right? But men and women, we don't have our telos. We don't know our telos. We have to figure it out. God gives us two things to figure out our telos, our purpose, our end, and that is our logic or our minds, you know, our rational thinking, and then we also have the free will to make choices once we figure it out. So we go through our lives trying to figure out, you know, what our telos is. You know, most people want to be happy. You know, no one wants pain. It's pleasure against pain. Most people search throughout their lives just for happiness. So what makes you happy? Is it a job? Is it success? Is it a career? Is it a family? Is it sex? Is it drugs? You know, is it power? I've had all of these things in my life. They all made me just greedy. The more I got, the more I wanted. The more money I got, the more I wanted. The more drugs I got, the more I wanted. The more sex I got, the more I wanted. I just got greedy. So you search, and you get to the top. Then what? The only time I really found true happiness was when I started reading about the Bible and learning about Jesus. And your real true telos in life is to serve God. Do the right thing.
All right. So, what is the point for you that you're doing also are part of the hip hop church?
Well, I'm the founder of the hip hop church. It happened about 4 years ago, up in the Bronx, and we now have about five churches. One in New York, one in Philly, Philadelphia, LA, Oakland, and Dallas. And it's going very, very well. It's basically, the hip hop church is a format for any church to bring the kids to come to church. We teach the kids about the Bible, Jesus, and salvation, and the good news. And we do it in a language that they understand. So it's all about the presentation. It's not the real message. The message is in the Bible. That will never change. But it's the presentation of the message. So it's a little more fun, a little more energy. There's no dress code. You can wear your jeans and your sneakers, no problem, you know. Because we feel God is not worrying about what you have on your back. He's worried about what's in your heart. So, you know, we teach the kids. It's basically a youth music ministry. There's a lot of Christian rap, you know, gospel rap, holy hip hop. And we have the same thing at a normal church. There's a processional, there's prayer, there's scripture reading, there's a sermon, there's an altar call, there's, you know, the offering. Same exact thing, but we just do it with a hip hop twist, and we have turntables in the church. Yes. Praise God. Jesus.